So I don't know what to address first, her spirit or her impact on the rock and the metal industry that is deep now, deeper yet to come. It makes me feel rebellious, triumphant, sexy, and dare I say, scandalous. Welcome to the Scandalous Podcast. Lilith Czar, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. That is quite the intro. Wow.
I mean, quite an intro for quite a lady, I would say.
Oh, thank you very much. I hope I live up to the hype.
Oh, you already have. You could not. So I'm an empath and you feel like a tsunami. So let's get to it. I want to treat the podcast kind of like a tarot reading, except backwards. I thought that would be really a fun thing. So let's do backwards. Let's do future, present, and then the past will be history and music so far. Future is up first. You're writing music right now, right?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes, I am. I have been traveling to Nashville and LA and New York and then back around again. And I have been writing and recording the demos for the future album too. So it's happening. It's very exciting. The material so far is so good. I'm so excited. I've really been diving into what I want this to represent, what I want this theme to be, what I want it to look like, the message behind the record. And I've been writing, not just songs, but tons of poetry to coincide with the kind of new little world that I'm building. So I'm very, very excited. I do not have a release date. None of that has been, these things take time. And I've been touring for the last year and a half, and being on tour that long, it's very hard to write when you're on the road. But I write down what I can and I kind of compile stuff while I'm on the road, and then I get off the road, and that's when I kind of really dive into writing the music and the lyrics and all of that. And so that's what's been going on in my downtime.
Wonderful. And I heard recently in an interview that there was a show in Ireland that really changed things for you.
Yes. I was in Scotland. Are you talking about?
Damn it.
Okay.
I was saying it out loud. I was like, there's something about it you're going to screw up.
Yeah, Irish and the Scottish are screaming at you.
I know. And I knew as I was saying it out loud, I was like, I'm doing something wrong. Let's go for it. And
that's okay.
Yeah, there you go.
It's okay. Well, I do have Irish in me. So maybe that's what you were picking up, was just my Irish energy.
Oh, I'm such an empath. Yeah. To marry you, Irish tsunami. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So yes, that was Glasgow. And it was just it was like almost a spiritual experience. In that it was almost like I floated up out of my body, and it was like a show that I had imagined myself doing my whole life. It was like, what, when you're a kid and you're dreaming of these triumphant moments that you're going to have, and it was a show that completely made me float up out of my body and look at myself and like go, this is one of the moments you've been dreaming of your entire life. It was, I don't know, it was the energy of the crowd. It was the fans singing the lyrics back to me. It was the perfection of my band and our live performance, and it just coming together so fluidly, and like everything just felt so cohesive and magical, and the energy in that, I cannot explain it other than it was like a fucking spiritual experience.
So there's so many things to unpack there. Are you spiritual? Do you meditate? Rapid fire questions.
Or I'm very spiritual. I believe that that we are larger and bigger than just this. You know what I mean? I feel like I am a spirit, I am a soul, I have a body, and I feel that the spirit and the soul are very uh not of this plane and of this world, and I think that um they're very, we as spirits and souls are very magical in the sense that we can make things happen when we set our intentions and manifest, and yes, lead a very honest life, and do the right thing, treat others the way you want to be treated. I feel like we possess the ability to grow and to become the best versions of ourselves, that we have the ability to rise in the face of, um, you know, hard times and things that are meant to break us down and to kill us. I feel like we have the power to overcome that. Um, and so 100% I'm spiritual. I think that I know that I'm more than just my body and my physical world self. And, for me, coming to terms with that, it feels like I have the power to, you know, push push certain thoughts at bay that are harmful, and to focus my attention on the things that are positive and productive, and um know that, like, when when I come in on myself, like whether it's like self uh deprecation, or like self-doubt, or not feeling worthy or good enough, like all of those feelings, like I felt that a lot throughout my life, and that's something that I believe is not you. And I believe that we have it within ourselves to say fuck you to those thoughts and those feelings, and prove prove those feelings and those thoughts wrong. Um so yeah, that is magic to me.
I knew that about you. I knew you I knew it. I knew.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, I just feel called to, say spiritual woo-woo. I feel called to say, I felt that way my entire life, like not enough and self-deprecating and doubting. And I just felt called, it's a
Yeah.
it's a fun word, but I just feel called to also say, like, I've also felt that way my entire life. And,
Yeah.
if there are other women out there that feel that way, I have a girlfriend who's, I feel like she's coming of age and, her 30s, and she's just learning all these things about herself and all these obvious things, things we're talking about. She's like, well,
Yeah.
really? I didn't know that like everyone feels this way. And I'm like, yes, we all feel this way.
There is not a human on this planet that is perfect. There's not a single person that doesn't have some sort of battle, some sort of internal battle, something, every single person on this planet deals with their own war. And sometimes it's easier for others, sometimes it's harder for others. Every experience is exclusive to that human, you know what I mean? Because no one's the same. But when you realize that, it kind of not only does it make you more empathetic and understanding of other people's you know behavior, or it just makes, for me, I just gives me more of a sense of, um it's like almost a mother instinct, I would say, with fans, with friends, with people in my life. It gives me more of just empathy towards human beings. And that's something too that I go, well, why do we all have that? Why do we all have that? And I feel like it's something we're not supposed to have. And let me take that back. I feel like it exists for us to become stronger. I feel like that's just kind of my own reasoning behind, like, why do we all have that? Well, it's for me it builds character, it builds strength, it makes you overcome things, it causes you and forces you to grow and ultimately become a more powerful version of yourself.
And that's beauty right there. Love that so much. That's wonderful. So would you say, I'm fishing a little bit for the new music. I'm not trying to, but I am a little bit. This can be general. Do you feel more inspired by external things in the world or internal celebrations, epiphanies, and conflicts when you're writing?
I have songs like Diamonds to Dust, which was off of my last record, which is an internal battle. That song is about self-destruction. That song is about taking things beautiful and completely destroying them. But then I have songs like King, which is external, but also very internal, So I find inspiration, primarily, involving things that hit close to home, whether that's, like, observing like even just my fan base and observing kind of this message that I get of like, I can't do it. I don't know if I have the power. I don't like, these are the things that I'm struggling with, legit problems. And I observe that and I can't help but feel the compulsion to go, that's not true. Yes, you can. This is why, and pouring it into a song, that's very external. But then you have songs like Feed My Chaos and Diamonds and even Lola that are internal, thoughts and feelings. I think that's what music is. It's internal until it's external.
Until it manifests.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It manifests and it's screaming in your ears.
I love that. So, it sounds like such a vapid question now that we've gotten so deep, but might as well get it out of the way. But you do also design jewelry as well.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. I want to talk about your style a little bit. So this is kind of like moving on to present. You design jewelry. Is that your piece?
No, it's not.
But I love it though. It's great.
Thank you. It's vintage. Thank you very much. And a lot of the pieces that I do design, I like to pull out like my vintage pieces and like use them as inspiration. So I do want to make a necklace like this. So you'll probably be seeing that sometime in the future.
Well, I'll be a first customer. I had a huge. So I think we have the same kind of styles. So I just love it. Well, I don't know if you're like big gaudy, but I just love like big gaudy. And
I love statement pieces.
Oh yeah,
I've been admiring your necklace. It's gorgeous.
Oh,
is that the medallion on it? Is what's on it? Is it a lion? What is it?
Yeah, so it's vintage as well. So it's like knockoff Versace, like whatever it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like Versace. It looks like vintage '90s Versace.
Yeah,
It's fantastic.
I love that piece, and I have like so many crosses, and my entire apartment is Renaissance art. So,
oh wow,
it's
that's
just
amazing.
Gold everywhere, and like so that is a very like Renaissance, Baroque looking thing, and that's just who I am. As oh my god, wait, I'm going to show you one thing that's so
Okay.
silly, but I
show me.
have to get it. You're going to die. So
Okay,
silly.
I want to see.
My life, but I had to show it to you. So
Well,
this I got on Etsy. So it is, but there's like some flaws to it. Like it needs more structure. So it needs more structure, and like the lace, you can't actually put up the whole neck. But so I fold it down and then wear it like that.
So it doesn't stab you in the lady's apple.
Yes. Yeah. But like, look at
my gosh. That is so fantastic. I can't even take it. Okay, so that lion that reminds me of the lions in the Labyrinth, which is really cool, by the way.
I know that I have cast that you like that movie, and
are you kidding?
I hate that movie because I hate the snake in it. Like, so as a small child, like that movie scares the fuck out of me because of David Bowie, and I know you love David Bowie. David Bowie with the snake in it is like the scariest thing in the entire world.
No, it's fantastic. I cannot believe that I'm showing musical pieces. You cannot pull that to me. It's blasphemy. You can't. That movie is from the music. The album is fantastic. If you don't listen to it on Spotify, you're dead inside. It is fantastic. David Bowie is everything in that movie. He is, oh my God, he's so glorious. The whole movie is so good. How do you not
rewatch it? Well, I love watching you go somewhere when you talk about it.
Well, like, because what's not to love? I know, because it's a mystical land full of furry, fun, little, tiny, big and small creatures that can talk, and they're going like, what's more fun than that? And a heroine, fucking star of the movie who is going to save her brother and has to, fight off crazy magical creatures, and with David Bowie and great songs, and the whole thing is just so good.
I'll rewatch it. Oh my God,
so sick. Yeah, it's so sick. It's this designer though called Lori's Son. You have to, so sick. I just got it. I'm very excited. And then look at this.
God, look at it on your back though.
Oh, I know. Isn't that great? I know.
Oh my God, it's so.
I know. I love
it so much.
When it comes to fashion and jewelry, I think that it plays such a big role in artists, for me at least. Not for everybody, but for me, it plays such a big role in my art. I think that what you wear and the aesthetic and the way things look should represent who you are as an artist. And I feel like the music and the look and the way the sets and the shoots and the videos and the staging, I feel like it all needs to be cohesive. And so I don't think that fashion and jewelry is vapid in the least. It is deep and it is glorious.
Funny story about that. That is so true, and that's so correct. And by the way, stunning on you. Like, I'm such a fan of all women. I just love like that spike necklace, like on your body. Stunning. Like, I love our different bodies and the way that like look on women. Like that's like art. And that cross on you, I'm just like imagining this like leather tube top, like long dress or crop top. Oh my God, like that necklace. I know. And that spike on your neck.
Yeah.
The way
I'm so happy you're very passionate about those, because I'm pretty passionate about those necklaces too.
Well,
I think that women look when anytime a woman wears something with confidence, it's sexy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you and that necklace and that awesome V-neck sweatshirt, your jet black hair. Sexy. So sexy.
That's so funny. I was almost engaged to this guy one time, and he wasn't the right one. And he was like questioning me, and he was like, you buy all this jewelry to impress other people, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, you don't know who I am at all. I don't even think about other people. It's just who I am.
Don't tell me what I am and what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And well, it was an early in my development, relationship, but it was just like,
Yeah.
oh, you don't know who I am at all. Like, I don't even think about other people. It's just an extension of who I am.
Well, yeah, I do it because it makes me feel good.
Yeah, man.
I know. I like it. It makes me happy. I'm wearing today. I wanted to wear a big frumpy damn shirt because it makes me happy.
And the bow, we're debuting the bows. The bows
So we are. The bows are a thing.
Yeah.
I have to give credit where credit is due. My hairstylist, Pamela, who, by the way, I'm totally name dropping right now. She used to do David Bowie's hair. Sorry, Pamela, the cat's out of the bag. I know.
No
pretty
way.
Anyway, so yeah.
Wow.
So she was like, and she's helped me like throughout the entire Lilith process with, my hair looks and all of that. And she, this is the last time I saw her, she was like, you should get a bow. Like it would be so, and I was like, literally within 30 seconds, I was on Etsy and eBay and Amazon buying bows. So thank you.
So she don't know. I love it. Yeah, I'm the little metal decent princess.
Makes me feel like 8 years old again too. Who doesn't want to be a kid again?
I do. Well, I feel so represented and feel so sexy with everything that you put together about your look. It is a feast for the eyes and for the soul, and I feel it. So I appreciate the effort.
So thank you very much. There is a lot of effort. It is not easy. I'll say that. It's not easy. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Absolutely. So, are you currently selling jewelry, or like how can people find it if they want?
Yeah. Just go to nevertakeitoff.com. And there's tons of artists that we create lines and jewelry lines for. So you have an array of different types of styles and flair and all of that to choose from. What's really great about Never Take It Off is that the jewelry is not just jewelry. It represents meaning. It's merchandise. It's jewelry with meaning. And, each line is developed around the artist's lyrics and their message, their message in their songs into the people who listen to them. So every piece we has, but there's a lot of thought that goes into it. So.
Okay. So I didn't know about this. So yeah. Do you like collab with different artists?
Yeah.
No way. That's so cool. Yeah. So who do you collab with?
Well, we have Chris Cerulli from Motionless. We've got Remington Lee. We've got Andy Biersack. We've got Lilith, Ash Costello. Many, many more. Everybody, all the artists that we collab with are fantastic. And they're all on there. If you go to nevertakeitoff.com, you can see.
Well, you're smart, girl. I love it so much. That's awesome. Awesome. Okay, cool. So let's, we're hanging out in present. We're about to go to past, your history. But let's be ethereal one more time. So like, what are you looking forward to? Something short term and something long term?
Short term, well, there's a few things that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to getting the first, I was just in LA and I just recorded 2 new songs. So I'm very much looking forward to hearing those put together. My producer's going to be sending them over in the next couple of days. So I'm extremely excited to hear the songs because they're so good. I'm so excited. I wish I could give titles away, but I don't know if I'm ready to do that yet. But there's one song that I'm I can't wait for people to just see the title. So that short term. Another short term that I'm excited about is watching. My husband and I are watching all of the Marvel movies in their sequential order. So we started, you start with Captain America and then you work your way. I don't know if you're Marvel.
I'm not at all, but it's a great podcast idea to like talk to again if you're down to like talk about your experience and rate them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think it's cool. Yeah. I think it's a thing. So you do have a thing.
I'm sure it's a thing. Yeah. So we're watching every Marvel movie in sequential order right now. And we watched Black Panther last night. So the next movie, I believe, is Spider-Man Homecoming. So that'll be fun tonight. And then long term, did you say long term? Obviously, album 2, sophomore record. Can't wait. Can't wait to be on tour again. Bap, 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 bap. And eventually moving and getting a new place. That's something that Andy and I have been talking about. We're probably moving again next year. So that will be nice when it's over. Moving
sounds awful. Sounds great. Sounds awful.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah, exactly. It is horrendous it's horrendous while you're doing it, but then the feeling of accomplishment that comes over when the last box is smashed into a flat box.
We take that big box and you make it a small box. It's so gratifying. Yeah, I know that feeling.
We've moved quite a lot. Since we've had our cats now for like 11 years. So in the 11 years that we've had them, we've moved like 6 or 7 times, and they love it because cats and boxes are one. They are cats and boxes are that's the thing, right?
I had 3 cats growing up, and I haven't really interacted with cats since. So cats, now just like Dog City forever and always. So I know nothing about cats.
That's okay. If a box comes into the house, it's Christmas for them. They think it's a gift for them. They have to get inside. They love it. So that's
the only Santa Claus. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. Well, let's keep the thing going. We're going to go in your past, learn about you, learn about your music. So getting to your music, I'm all grown up, of course. But when I listen to your songs, I feel like a little in awe in one moment, strong and self-actualized in another. And I feel like I could kill you with a look in other ones. So how old were you when you discovered your voice, and what was your journey like becoming Lilith Czar?
Well, first of all, that was very well written, I must say.
Well, I do
have a way with words.
Well, I did want to say really quickly, sometimes I sit there and it, it takes me a few days and I have to really work at it. And, this one, I just sat down with the TV show on and it poured out of me. I didn't even I was like, la, la, la. And it was like in 45 minutes with dogs on me. And I was like, do, 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 do. Like, it just poured out of me. So, I mean it. Yeah, no effort put in here. I'm just like, well, sometimes, yeah.
I mean, sometimes your best work is done in minimal time. Like Anarchy, that song was written in an hour and a half.
That was one of my questions I actually have on here. Was some things are like done under pressure, and that song is such a song. Did it pour out of you like in one go?
It was like it was sitting here in the in an alternate universe just around my head, and it was literally like I just went like this. Okay, well, this is just sitting here. This needs to come and materialize into the physical plane. So that song was it just poured out of you, and that's what happens sometimes. You know what I mean? Like going back to your initial question, finding my voice the physical voice and the external or internal voice that needed to become external, that took years. That voice that takes experience, that takes life experience, that takes going through some shit, you know. The physical voice, like I never had a vocal teacher, growing up. Everything is pretty much self-taught. And my teachers were Janis Joplin and Alanis Morissette and Whitney Houston and Freddie Mercury and Elton John and the Beatles and the Stones and David Bowie, and the list goes on. And so, as a young aspiring singer, you tend to, I did. I would gravitate towards kind of mocking that voice whenever I was listening to, and I could sound like Christina Aguilera if I wanted to. I could sound like Alanis Morissette if I wanted to. And that was kind of my first musical battle, was not sounding like anybody else, because I practiced. That was how I learned to sing, was basically just mimicking another singer's voice. And so that was like very, very hard to get out of. But what got me out of that was writing my own material. I wrote my first original song at like 12 years old, and it was so bad. But that's when I started writing my own songs at like 11 or 12 years old. And so in the beginning, it was, you have to write some bad songs to get to the good ones. I always say this, that every 5 songs you write, one of them is good. So think about that. That's why records take so long. Otherwise, records would be just being pooped out every month. It takes a while because that's what happens. And at least for me, in my experience. So not everything I do is genius, okay? So yeah, that was quite that right there was pivotal in finding my voice. Was writing my own material. So I really started to find my own voice through original writing and recording and going on tour, starting at a very, very young age. And that, slowly developed throughout my teenage years and, my early 20s. And I feel like, again, going back to just life experiences, as a woman in the rock scene, in the entertainment industry, there was a buildup. I think that I started in the industry right at the cusp of the female awakening that has happened in the last 10 years. This kind of no, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. No, I'm not going to deal with this. This is my fucking, I am woman, hear me roar, has kind of really, it has really boomed in the last decade. And I came at a time right at the cusp of all of that happening. And so I was unaware of a lot of stuff that I had experienced that was not okay. I was unaware that it was not okay. And I had internalized a lot of it and ignored a lot of it and didn't recognize it for what it was until hearing other women speak up and seeing the bravery of other women and this blossoming that was kind of brewing in the culture, like it was something that I felt and I blossomed with. And it was about, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. I kind of was just like, I had enough. I was recognizing it. Things from the past were bubbling to the surface. And bubbling to the surface for me meant I have to put this into my art. I have to put this into who I am as an artist. I have to, this like it was pouring out of me. So that's where you got songs like King and Feed My Chaos. And that's why you got Lilith Czar. That's why you got this brand new artist, is because it felt like I had completely woken up. I had completely changed as a person, as a woman. I had worked on myself, like internally, for a very long time, overcoming, alcohol abuse. I'm not sober, but I don't consider, like, I'm not in AA, but I haven't had a drop of alcohol since Halloween of 2016. I haven't had a single drop of alcohol. And like, that was a pivotal moment for me in like changing who I am and who I want to be and what I want to represent and, what I want to mean to other people and how can I better myself? How can I become stronger? How can I become more powerful? And it's like all these steps to overcoming your own battles, your own demons and obstacles, and growing because of that. And so making all of these huge life changes and acknowledging things of the past, like it resulted in an actual voice, actually having something to say, really knowing who I was because of all of the things that I had gone through, really finding myself, really knowing what I want to represent, and saying it for the first time, saying the things that I had internalized and not said and not acknowledged for so long, and now being like, ding, 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 ringing that bell. So that is in an abridged version, which is a story that I could make way longer, believe it or not.
That's so much more beautiful than you gave so much in answering that. So thank you so much for everything that you gave that.
Anyways,
I heard that you're like, I'm into like all the fantasy stuff and like all those the same types of shows that you're into. I've been into that my entire life.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're a huge Buffy fan. I'm the biggest true crime girl in the entire world.
Oh my God.
Like, we're into all the same things.
True crime. Figured out a lifelong question that I would get asked in interviews that I wouldn't know how to answer, which is, what would you, if you weren't a musician, what would you do? I would be a fucking detective. 1000%. It is true crime I'm horrifyingly obsessed with it.
Well, it's the most relaxing thing in the entire world. I can't describe it. It is so relaxing. So, I didn't want to jump the gun, but do you listen to My Favorite Murder? Are you?
Yes. My Favorite Murder is absolutely one of my favorite podcasts on the planet. And then next to that, well, I would say in line with that is Morbid.
Yeah.
Which is so good. And then the Morbid girls started another podcast called The Rewatcher, which is a podcast about Buffy.
I've heard of it. I haven't listened to it, but I'm into those things.
Fantastic. I have listened to every episode so far. They're only on nearing the end of season 2 of Buffy. So you have a lot of episodes. But it is so fantastic. But also I'm like a little I'm a little sour about the whole thing because I should have started a Buffy the Vampire Slayer podcast. I'm a little bit like, that's not a good idea. Why did I think of that?
Well,
it's so good.
That's Okay, but like the thing we have to talk about. So if you're talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel or Spike? Like I was Angel all day. Like Angel or Spike? Angel or Spike?
Spike.
And
Spike forever.
Okay.
Spike forever. James Marster. I got a cameo from him.
Well,
I did. I was sick on tour, and to lift my spirits, my husband bought a cameo from Spike, and Spike sent me a cameo. It's literally like over 3 minutes long, and it is him, like, in the best way, vibe checking me. Like, you better get up and you better save the world. And it is. I've watched it over 100. It is like I watch it when I need to like boost my like confidence or something. He is the best present I've ever received.
that is the funniest, cutest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
No, it's on my Instagram.
Okay, well that's a scroll. Like I just can't imagine, like how everything in your life culminates to like, more than you can have ever imagined ever.
Oh, I never thought in a million years that I would have Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer talking to me about my music and about kicking ass and going out there and saving the world. Like it was everything 14-year-old me wanted to hear.
I can't. Yeah. I just am wrapping myself in that moment, like rolling around.
Yeah.
Number one, I feel like you should have your own comic book. That is like an epic tale of epic proportions of all epicness of like, and kind of what I don't know where this came from, but I kind of like started tearing up listening to you talk about, I can mimic all these artists, but just like finally finding your own voice. That's such like an epic thing that you did. And that just feels like a superhero to me of like so much fighting internally and then finally like having the courage to actually have your own voice and to like finally come out with it. That's so visceral. Like, it's like this hard thing that you had to get there. You had to get there. Yeah. That like, oh my God, comic book. That's so Marvel. That's so Marvel.
I love you're like saying all the right things right now because really what I want to be more than anything in this universe is a superhero. Wow. That's my top. That if I could just be a superhero, I wouldn't want anything else. I'd never ask for anything ever again. So you saying all of that is.
Well, it's hilarious because the entire time I didn't want to interrupt you because you're not supposed to on podcast. You nod and you go, and you shut up and let the guest talk. But I was like, it's like, woman, hear me roar. Woman, hear me roar. Woman, hear me roar. And then you said it and it's like,
you're like, I had that thought for you and I sent it through the screen.
Yeah, that's exactly. And I was like, woman, hear me roar. No, that's a beautiful story. And, we won't talk about harp on that too much, but there's so many things that like you realize were good, were bad. And I think, there's also like things that you do not deal with. They come back and they don't go away until you deal with them.
Yeah.
Totally have. Like we've all felt that. But I'm like, I felt that before. And also there's like another thing that is a product of that is like secondary after the fact is like anger and distrust in yourself.
Yeah.
When those things, when you realize like, oh, maybe this like wasn't, okay or something like that. And then it's like, then you get pissed at yourself. And that's another thing you have to deal with.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, you become very introverted and you become very, you second guess everything. You feel worthless. You feel like you don't have value. All of this stuff that is a result of
not set up for yourself when you should have.
Absolutely. And look, I I don't regret anything in my life. I don't even regret, having a massive fucking drinking problem and having to go to rehab. I don't regret that because I look at that as um, a battle that I fought, and and it's so fucking cliche, but what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I was, I could have died straight up. Like, I was 85 pounds. I was so unhealthy. Um, I was drinking so much that it was giving me like liver problems. Like, it was bad. And, uh, when I finally checked into rehab, the doctor there was like, if she had gone like one more week like this, she could have died. And so when you experience something like that, not only does it make you appreciate life and being alive, but for me, it made me go, this isn't what my legacy is. This isn't who I am. This is something else that is trying to destroy me and trying to ruin and prevent me from doing what I know it is that I can do and what I know that I can be. And I'm going to prove it fucking wrong. And so that is, and the other thing, aside from that, was the message that it was putting across to other girls and other women and people. Like, I have a strong sense of responsibility um, for motivating others and setting the right example. And I did not want to let even a single person down, let alone myself.
Well, it's not cliche. You live it, and then you realize that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. It's cliche when you live it, and then you're like, oh, that's a real thing. So it's a real thing.
Yeah, it is. So, it's oversaid, but it's oversaid for a reason.
Well, it's one thing I've always said. Music finds you in life when you need it. Like, you may not hear a song until like 10 years later. And you're like, oh my God, that's what just happened to me or something like that. But it's like that, that saying, in life is true, in the same way, where it's like, that's your, it's cliche until that's your experience. And you're like, oh my God, that's so true.
Yeah, it's totally, absolutely. Well, that's the wonderful thing about lyrics and music is they're entirely timeless.
So I wrote the saddest, but let's change that. The saddest / the most powerful lyrics I've ever heard are like Bible verses to me. And I recite them over and over again to myself. What are your favorite lyrics you've ever written? And what are a few examples of your favorite lyrics from other artists who have touched you?
Oh, man. Well, my favorite, who's to say a woman can't think with her dick? It's definitely a lyric I'm very proud of. I'm just gonna say it.
What a soundbite, baby. Yeah.
The lyrics in King are a moment for me as a lyricist because I was saying things that I never had the balls to say before. And so that song will always have a special place in my heart. Oh man, it's so hard because some of the lyrics that I've written for the new songs right now, it's kind of like that with artists, by the way, well, at least in my experience, and other artists that I know experience. They always say like their latest song is their favorite song they've ever written, and I think it's just because we get sick of the other shit that we've heard and have had to play over and over and over and over and over and over. So so you get really, really excited about new stuff. And so some of the new lyrics that I've written, I'm very proud of, and I can't wait for people to hear that. Oh, the poem, the beginning, the intro poem to Created from Filth and Dust. I'm very proud of that poem. Um, Now other people's lyrics. That one's a hard one. Well, I mean, the lyrics to Imagine for me will always be just one of those songs. I heard Imagine for the first time as a baby because my parents had me listening to all the greats and classic rock artists, iconic artists of our time, as a child. And that song, like, that was like one of my mom's favorite songs. And it's just like, who doesn't love a song that's about world peace? And like, making the world a safe and just and harmonious place. Like, who doesn't?
It's also like a place you can go that's safe. Like the world isn't really safe out there, but
Yeah.
that song is safe. It's like a safe place you can go. My dad died when I was little, and he
Oh,
does.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, I know. I hate saying it because like it makes everyone around him sad, but it's fine. It's great. It's happy. It's fine. Whatever.
Oh my God.
It's fine. No, I just like I hate bumming people out, but I hate making people sad. And it's always like people are like, oh, and I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to be sad. But
it's something that is part of you. It's like you should be able to talk about that without feeling like, oh, it's gonna make other people uncomfortable. Like, who cares?
yeah,
Yeah,
totally. I just hate bumming people out. But I've always like caught. So he does a lot to let me know. And the past like 4 or 5 years, I've never had a concept of my father. It was always my mother. And just like the concept of having a dad, I have like 3 memories of him. 2 good, 1 bad, but like he was wonderful. So I had like a loving idea of him, but I never knew him. But I've always like had this like cosmic connection. And my dad looks like so my dad looks very Middle Eastern, and like I've always looked at Cat Stevens and like he kind of looks like my dad. And I've always had this thing with Wild World, and I've always felt like it was my dad talking to me. And like going to a state, which don't make me cry. Like your parents like gave you that song Imagine, and mine is like Wild World, and I always feel like it's my dad talking to me. And like I always feel like he's around, So it's like your parents are like trying to give you like a safe space,
Oh,
So it's like that's more like, or whatever. Sorry, I don't know. But it's
you're fine.
no.
No, this is such a beautiful, vulnerable moment.
But it's, like music and songs are like safe places.
They are.
And they are like people, go through like horrible abuse and horrible breakups and horrible things in their lives. And then songs are safe spaces you can go to get away from.
Yeah. They're a hug. They're a big hug.
So your parents like gave you that place, and it's like the safe place in like an unsafe world.
Yeah.
I connect with that with Wild World. Every time, I hear that, I'm like, hey dad, what's up? And it's like, the lyrics are like, I've seen a lot of what this world can do. It's breaking my heart in two. And I never want to see you sad, girl, whatever. It's just like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's like what songs are. It's beautiful, and they're safe spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
snip it up.
I love it. I love it so much. I cry like once a day. It's therapy.
So it's beautiful that way.
It is. It's very beautiful that way. And I 1000% believe that that's your dad saying, hi, honey. Going back to, the spiritual side of of things. I 1000% believe that, the people we lose are still out there in the ether. Just because their body died does not mean they're gone. They still exist. And they pop in and send little messages to their loved ones. I think that's exactly what your dad is doing. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I do too. So
I love her.
so getting so funny. Like, I'm an emotional person. And it's so funny
Yeah.
trying to like proper my way back in.
Yeah. You're like, and I anyway.
And I'm like, I don't consider myself like that proper of a person. So I'm kind of laughing at myself right now that I'm like, anyways,
No,
it's like, I don't think it's necessary. So I'm just laughing very hard at myself right now that I'm trying to. Oh, God. Anyways, back to the question.
anyways, no, that's so funny. I but
Yeah,
I
that's
love that a lot.
well,
It's not. It's fantastic and it's beautiful.
that's funny. Okay, well, getting back to the question though, so that for you, a song, Imagine, is a safe place song for you.
It's a safe space song. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that um another song that I heard when I was really, really little. Not really, really little, but Flaming Lips have a song called Do You Realize? And the lyrics in that song are they make you feel like they can almost make you feel so small. Because, like, do you realize we're floating in space? Like, just that lyric alone, I'm like, well, yeah, we are. We're just we're a tiny, tiny, tiny little speck in the grand, like that to me, kind of hearing a lyric like that that was like something that kind of opened me up to like, there's so much more than me. There's so much more than this world. What is that? Like, that's kind of what I would say, um, started me on like this, like, more spiritual aspect of life of like, what does it all mean? What is it all about? Like, what are we doing here? And so that song, I really love the lyrics in that song. I think they're fantastic. Like, do you realize that happiness makes you cry? Like this dichotomy, like we live in such a uh interesting, like everything is such a dichotomy almost, I don't know. I love the lyrics in that song.
Listening to your first big release created from Filth and Dust, it opens with a poem. And whenever I can, I love to highlight words that touch and strike me. And I'm going to read like 4 or 5 lines from your poem because attention needs to be paid. And it is a wonderful thing in this world. And I don't know if it's actually been done before. And if it has, tell me. But what artist in the world gets to introduce themselves to the world on their own terms? Right? So, so it's like fake pause. Okay, so she spelled, I will show you, you will see me. And together the heavens crumbled, for love doesn't prescribe hate. There was the wasteland, echoed the disaster left in her wake. Pain and torment preyed on the weak, but bred power to those who rose. What strong, beautiful, passionate words. Kind of like what I just said. I know you said previously that that poem means so much to you. I mean,
Yeah.
how cool is it? And maybe you can speak to this of being able to self-actualize and introduce yourself to this industry, this world, and, you know, these fans,
Yeah.
on your own terms. Like, how cool is that?
It's very liberating. It's extremely empowering to take back your power and to say, this is who I am. You know what I mean? And a lot of people do it. And uh I'm inspired just by every day, just, whether it's on social media or hearing other people's stories of, of just their truth and, who they are and what they represent. And for so long, that was something that felt very unattainable, and, but then time passed and growth and self-realization and uh, strength and saying, that's it, I've had enough. And, writing songs that were healing, very healing, and writing songs that changed me, and writing songs because I changed, and all of these things that, you know, result in a culmination uh, of of finding who you are and then not being afraid to expose that. And so, this poem that I wrote reflected my past, and in a very dramatic way, you know, very dramatic. But it's not just my story, you know. I felt like that was the story of so many people, and could be and if you haven't gotten there, it could be your story. And when it comes to lyrics and poetry, like, that's when I'm alone in a room with a notebook, that's like that's my safe space. That's my, like, it actually took me a long time to get good at being, like, social with humans. And, like, to be, like, not good at, I'm not saying, like, I'm good at it, but, like, I felt very, for a long time, I was very internal, very, guarded, very, um, introverted, awkward, all of those things. But when I sit down to write, it gives me the freedom now, especially, to not feel, uh, judged, to not feel it gives me total freedom to just that, like, everything to go this way rather than feel like things are coming this way, if that makes sense. And
Absolutely.
I can articulate what it is that I want to say, um, with just a pen and a paper better than I can, in person or on stage or whatever. Like, that is my safe space. And so when I wrote that poem, I felt like it was, again, something that it was a result of my life's experience thus far. And it was just kind of sitting there. And I was like, well, hello. Hello there. Like, I wrote that poem in like 25 minutes.
See, I knew that was another thing. I was like, did that just pour out of you too? Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, and it's also like directing energy. There's like something about this life, like you're either making your own dream happen or you're making someone else's dream happen. And
Yeah.
like, there's some boldness and like directing energy where you want it to go. And there's also like something to that with your poem as well. It's like taking a stand. It's cool. I love it. So you're a very brave girl. Good for you.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I love it. So there's Sexy Songs, Ricky Bain by Chris Isaac, Bad at Love by Halsey, but oh my God, your song Bad Love, sexy as fuck. It's like an angel kissing the devil, and it's toxic, but it works beautiful when it hurts. We're so good at bad love. The way you give me mad love, the way you work your magic, addicted, gotta have it, never get enough. Oh my God, your lyrics, obviously, and I mean it. I mean, that is, I'm holding out. I will not commit again until I feel that passionate feeling again in my life. Can you tell us about that song?
Sure.
Like, was it about a relationship? Was it about love, good, bad, yay, all things?
Yes, it was. So, it was about the beginning years, the early years of the Juliet slash Lilith and Andy saga.
No way. And you got to marry him? Yes.
Yes, I guess. Yeah. Well, you know, something. It doesn't always work out this way. It didn't work out this way in the past with relationships that I had that were not good for me. Um, but there's something to be said about uh how much you can grow as with your partner and as a couple when you uh when you go through some shit together, when you experience some dark stuff um and kind of uh having a rocky uh origin story. You know, they say that the couples that make it and the partners that make it are the ones who survive really bad times, really, really bad times because uh, they grow, they understand each other. Just if you can love someone through their worst, then you're going to love them at their best. And there's a bond and a almost unbreakable bond that forms when you come out the other side of being kind of crazy and kind of toxic. If you can remedy that, and if you can fix that, and if you can work on that, and if you can handle it, and something very beautiful can come of that. And so that song was about kind of the origin of my love, um the love of my life, you know. So it is a naughty song. It is a sexy song, but it all works out in the end.
So it hasn't always been this way, but like feeling a certain way, it's sad, going to like rock or going to metal, like I always do. You always go to like a man's song and like the lyrics you hold close to your heart, like a Bible verse and recite over and over and over again. It's always a man's voice. So
Right.
it's just been such a wild ride to like be able to listen to your music over and over again and be able to listen to her music and
Yeah.
just to zone out in a certain way. And it's like you feel like you're just Jules is like pet me. To feel you can just put on that music and let your internal voice go and just
Yeah.
like have a woman be that internal um, voice instead of
Right.
like having a man. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's the noise in your head. It's just
Right.
such a calming experience.
Oh, well, that's really uh that's like a really big compliment. It really is, because I know exactly what you're talking about. I grew up listening to tons of women, but yeah, primarily I would say 70% of the artists and bands that I listened to growing up were male. And so I know exactly what you're talking about. And I think that part of that comes from the fact that what was always pushed to the forefront throughout history were male voices and kind of men leading the charge. And that's been a one of the struggles for women throughout history, is fighting to have our voices heard and have what we have to say be of value and valid. And so I think that's what you said is a true testament to what you were saying earlier about um, how women are at the forefront of a lot of things this day and age, which shows growth and progress and is fantastic. So yeah. So thank you.
Yeah. Love to give a compliment, but just hit it home one more time. This is why I started doing interviews ever.
Yeah.
Was if I have the opportunity to say thank you once, and that's like why I started doing interviews. So it's like, if I could just like thank them once, that would be like everything to me. So let me thank you one more time, because that's why I do it. Is thank you very much for that
Oh,
internal, it's so much peace just to be able to throw on a woman's music, and I still get the heavy and I still get like the screaming and the intensity that I need.
yeah. Yeah.
But I can just zone out and have it be a woman's voice and meditate on that. So thank you for
That's
that.
awesome. Well, thank you for saying that, because it's a huge, huge compliment. Wait a minute, your dog. I need to meet your dog.
Hi, guys. So they just don't. I used to try and lock them in a broom closet, and that
you
doesn't
can't.
work. So
no.
it's a lot quieter if I just welcome them in.
I have cats that will start screaming in a minute, and I'm just gonna let them run, because then they start fighting, and then it's very violent, and I'd rather just have them go. Wait, what's your dog's name?
Oh, sorry, I'm laughing, by the way. This is Julesie's.
Julesy?
Sorry, Jules.
Jules. Okay.
This is Jules, and I have she's my pit mix, and then I have a lab mix, Diesel. So big dumb idiot, and then this is my smart, doesn't give emotion freely, just is dying to have a job outside the home. Doesn't like other dogs, so I walk her 2 hours a day.
Okay.
Just trying to give her a good life.
Smart, what a
smart
sweetie.
girl.
I love dogs. We have a family pit bull. So
I'm the biggest pit bull fan of the entire world.
Pit bulls are honestly, ours is a genius. Elliot is very smart. Like you can tell this dog, can you go get that towel? And she'll go over to the towel and like look at it and look at you, and you're like, yes, bring that to me. And she'll be like she's so smart. She does everything you tell her to do. Sit, paw, stop, go lay down, stop chewing on that, get off my face. She's amazing. I mean, and then with babies, she is unbelievably gentle and very protective. Like she's like a little nanny to my 1-year-old niece. I love it so much. I think I love her. Yeah. I know.
I can't wait. Like when John Hopkins dies anymore. Oh no, 50 years from now. Next one I want like a big. I think I want like a big black, huge, just beautiful like purple.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Damien, it'll be great.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I lay in bed at night on Pinterest and like, look up like black like pit bulls, and it just seems like beautiful. Like,
oh my
fucking things. But like I love all pit bulls, but like,
yeah, black,
but not watching porn, looking up like houses on slow,
dog dance, like
and dog pics, and like, ooh, yeah.
Really cute. Yeah, Andy and I, my husband and I talk about that too, because we have two cats, and they're senior cats. I think they're like 11 years old, and they are part tuxedo, part Maine Coon. So they're giant. I'll show you one in a minute. They're huge.
Those cats are wild,
crazy. Oh no, they're crazy. They're insane. We don't have cats. We have jungle monsters that live in our house. And they love us very much, and they're very needy, and they need to be around us at all times and in our laps, and they're just a lot. So, but we've talked about it like in the future when they've gone to the jungle
Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah, the Rainbow Bridge, yeah. What kind of a dog we want? We want a husky. Even though they're very annoying and don't shut the fuck up, I want a husky so bad.
Well,
So
I'm sure. Okay, so I set this up last night. That's why I'm fucking with my hair because I've never seen it like this. Sorry.
yeah. No, you're fine.
It's all new. Are you obsessed with raccoon Instagram yet?
No, but wait, raccoons are. I want one. Raccoon is. Let me look right now. Holy shit!
Okay, so
I'm gonna write it down because my phone's on airplane mode.
There's one. Okay, so I've been obsessed with raccoon memes for like about a solid year and a half. And then so I've been like obsessed with the memes, but then like I found Louie the raccoon. Yeah. On Instagram.
Oh wait, he's a house pet.
Yeah.
I know that Instagram. Yes. Oh my God, he's amazing.
I found him 2 nights ago and everything he gets into, I'm like, well, that's cute. Like,
you know, like when he gets into the dishwasher, like,
yeah.
just I know he's the best. I can't believe we both saw that. Instagram. It's so random. Yeah, it's amazing.
So I found it 2 nights ago and I was like, this is the culmination of everything.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing.
So I've always wanted a pet, but I'm like, we can want a raccoon now.
I know. There's he doesn't do a lot on raccoons, but there's a TikTok and Instagram that I follow. His name's like Big Tug, and he is hilarious. I will send you his TikTok. He's fucking funnier than shit. Anyways, he does these like bits on animals, and he brings up raccoons a lot as being like his favorite animal on planet Earth, and it's really funny. Anyways.
I know. My girlfriend at her house, like, we go sit on her porch and raccoons, like, hang out on the porch. So they'll, like, every now, there'll be, like, 3-4 of them. So it's like, you get that in your life.
That's very Cinderella of her.
So, like, the end of a really good set where you end with your biggest hits, we're ending the podcast with your biggest hits, your biggest songs. Anarchy, the song that changed your life. By now, that song has a life of its own. I'm a big history fan, so it's like Joan of Arc for women, liberating us all. When did you write that song? What does it mean to you? But mainly, like, how has it changed your life?
So I wrote that song in 2019. Yeah. Because I wrote it right before the pandemic, when we were still like allowed to travel and stuff. So it was right before 2020. I wrote it in Nashville. And it was, I was collaborating with my team, my dudes, and my producer. And I came into the studio with the lyric, you and me, we are like anarchy. I came in with the title Anarchy, and I had what we believe is not what they believe. And I had this concept of like, man, it really feels like the world is at odds and people are just at odds with each other. And the instigator in all of that was just not understanding and accepting that other people have their own ideas and thoughts, and that they're original and they are independent and they are independent thinkers, and they are not there for you to control and manipulate and insert ideas into, and are not there to be your puppets. And it felt, it just felt like I've never been of the mindset that I need other people to believe my ideas and believe and have my thoughts and my opinions. I've never, I don't understand that concept of trying to change people at all, or push my agenda. That's something that is like, no, everybody, what's true for you is true for you. And you are your own independent ruler of your own fucking kingdom. And anybody coming in and trying to disrupt that, you need to, tell them to fuck off. And so that was the song. So that song is essentially written for people who are authentically themselves and aren't afraid to shout it to the world, and are the people who point things out when they see something that's wrong or not okay, or are, people who aren't afraid to be exactly who they are. And because that's always, how I've felt. I've always felt like, you know, this is me. Love me or hate me. I don't give a fuck. And that's what anarchy is about.
It's beautiful. And I feel like, I feel like that's such a big song for you. I feel like,
Well, yeah, that song changed my life.
Yeah.
It really did. It was the first song that was like, I've been, the idea of being on rock radio has been a dream of mine my whole life, my whole fucking life, ever since I've been like, was a little girl turning on the rock radio station, 97.9, fucking 98 rock, whatever it was, here in Florida. And I was always like, I'm going to be on here. I'm going to be on here. I'm going to be on here. Like my whole life saying that. And then for it to finally happen with a song like Anarchy, getting millions and millions of streams, like the fuck, and like having it go number one on the reoccurrent rock charts, shit. Like it was just like, it's like it's movie-esque moments, and for it to happen with a song, with a rock song. Like I've been fighting to be in rock music my whole life I've spent with industry people telling me, women don't succeed in rock. You can't have a gravelly, your voice is already raspy enough. It can't have live drums or real guitars behind it. Like to fight for years and years and years and years and years to be in rock music, and finally have it be acknowledged, be told you're valid, and have a rock song on rock radio. Like it was just like that's what this song is about. It's about telling the people who have tried to hold you back and who have tried to change you. It's telling them to fuck off. And it happened with this song. So it was very it just felt
Everything.
it was just extremely poetic. Yeah.
I want to getting these, what are we getting?
Yeah.
It's just, I love the culmination.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. So what's your song King? Let's be fun. What's one cute time? Well, I guess that's it. I was gonna say, like, what's one enjoyable time in your life where you overcame something? But I mean, this entire podcast has been that. So I guess it's kind of a silly question now, right?
Yeah.
This whole thing has been overcoming. Is there one thing you want to point out, or should we just leave it with this whole podcast has been question?
Honestly, this entire conversation with you has been it just feels very free. It feels very natural. I feel like I have a super strong connection with you, just as a.
I know. I'm feeling I'm at brunch. I know.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like I'm at brunch, like for sure, and I feel like I'm in therapy, and I totally feel. I know there's so many things that you're saying about yourself growing up. I'm like, me too. I've been saying that like this whole time, like, ew.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like we're empaths, so we totally,
we're just right each other back.
Exactly. Like I'm saying things that you were thinking, and like vice versa. And so I mean, if there's anything else I can think of, I feel like we have covered so much.
With this whole thing, just like listen back for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think a cute place to end it. We have so many things to be excited about for you, and we're so excited you're here. We're so happy you exist in the world, and it's so beautiful that it's beautiful that there are beautiful things in the world like you that exist, and it is such a gift that you give. Let's be fun and put let's manifest something. So like, what's one thing you want to manifest and like put into the universe? We'll end it that way.
Oh my gosh. I mean, there's so many things you could okay. Can holding puppies be a job? Like I want to I would love to manifest that for myself. Like I'd love to have a job where I just hold puppies, you know? Who doesn't want that? But also like solving the you know, world hunger issue that we have. That would be a nice thing to manifest. Manifest all the bad guys away.
Yeah.
But in a more serious, real, in my,
I think all of those are serious. I think those are all serious.
They're very serious. Puppies and world hunger are very serious.
Yeah. And world peace, yeah.
And world peace. That is my Miss America answer for you. But it's
you just
also
need a light jacket.
Yeah. What do you want to manifest?
Past like 4 months have been like transformative, so it's all happening now. So I guess there's something to like, growth and like where you are and you couldn't have done it,
Yeah, it's all about just life experiences and learning from them. And speaking on the that was another huge thing in my past was body positivity. That was something that was really, really, really prevalent and pushed onto me as essentially a child growing up in the industry was my body, and being sexualized and being told to lose weight, or being told you have to look a certain way, or being made to feel like I wasn't beautiful if I didn't look the way that people wanted me to look. And that was something that I had to overcome as well. And I think that it's the societal pressures that women feel that are put on them is it's not true, it's not real, it's not right. And I feel like all women, all different shapes and sizes, whatever, I feel like all women are so beautiful, no matter your physical, I feel like women are we're supposed to be flawed. We're supposed to be curvy. We're supposed to be, if your genetic makeup is that you are super thin or voluptuous, or whatever it is that you have that you feel is not making you beautiful, that's the thing that makes you beautiful. You know what I mean? Like I had to practice loving myself and admiring the things that I didn't like about myself. I spent a lot of time literally, like, mentally admiring the things about myself that I thought were hideous or ugly. And we all go through that. And, you just have to force yourself over and over to love the flaws of your body. And one day you'll wake up and it won't be something that you're forcing anymore. It'll just be natural.
Yeah.
And there's power in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's, anytime I'm insecure, like sometimes I just have to like mentally like psych myself up, and I'm like, you're just going to walk in that room, and you're walking into a room of like, it's usually like me and my friends out or a party or whatever. It's like, just walk into the room, your friends love you. So however you are is okay. So however you are in that room is okay.
There's nothing more sexy and beautiful than a person completely owning themselves. That is true beauty.